Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Andy Cohen on the most iconic Housewives and hardest part of his job, plus talks RHONJ and RHONJ casting and teases RHOBH. Andy Cohen revealed which Real Housewives stars he considers the most iconic during an interview earlier this week. As he also addressed the ongoing success of his late-night talk show, Watch What Happens Live, and his Radio Andy ventures, the 57-year-old host named his top 3 housewives, admitted to facing casting challenges, and looked ahead to the new seasons of several shows. It's a lot of the OGs. I think Caroline Manzo for years was kind of the matriarch of the Real Housewives of New Jersey. I think you look at Vicki Gunvalson from The Real Housewives of Orange County or Luann de Lesseps. These are people who have been in front of the Bravo cameras for so long, and we've watched their evolution and their life, Andy explained on E! News. He also named Kyle Richards. She's still on The Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. She's an OG of that show. No one ever thought she'd get divorced. We've seen her relationships with her sisters evolve and evolve and evolve again. Talk about exploring her sexuality, he noted. Then, asked about the hardest part of his job with Bravo, Andy said it was keeping the Housewives franchise going. It's not always guaranteed. Even when you have casting that you think is perfect for a season, it's not always. You know, we're following life and sometimes stuff happens or sometimes stuff doesn't happen, he shared. It's ebbs and flows, getting it right. While Andy praised the new ladies of Real Housewives of Atlanta Season 16, seemingly in regard to Angela Oakley, Shamia Morton, and Kelly Farrell, Britt Eady left the show ahead of the reunion. He admitted that other franchises remain works in progress. We are still working on casting RHONJ and The Real Housewives of New York City, which are 2 beloved franchises that we are taking our time with to get them exactly right. He reasoned as he said that the new seasons of The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City and The Real Housewives of Potomac are both great. People are also gonna be so psyched about RHOB Season 15, he added. Moving on to WRHL, Andy said he's so grateful that the series is still airing. If I was grateful then, which I was, I can't believe I get the opportunity to do this. This is my dream, and all these years later, to get to still do it is just a gift. I have 2 dream jobs right now, he gushed. That second dream job, Radio Andy, just celebrated 10 years on air and was extended for another 3. As for what Andy would be doing if he weren't hosting, he revealed, I would possibly just write books or I would try to be a professor. Andy Cohen has often been described as the ringmaster of Bravo's glittering circus, a man who somehow manages to wrangle multiple franchises, moderate some of television's most combative reunions, and still find joy in the madness. For nearly 2 decades, Cohen has been the beating heart behind the Real Housewives universe, a sprawling collection of women, stories, and feuds that have defined modern reality television. But what does it feel like to be at the center of it all? When you're the one sitting on the reunion couch while champagne flutes fly, when the women demand answers from one another, and when millions of viewers wait for you to ask the one question they're screaming at their screens? Cohen laughs when asked about the hardest part of his job. Honestly, it's keeping a straight face, he admits, leaning back into his chair as if replaying dozens of memories at once. There are moments so surreal. Lisa Rinna throwing a glass, Teresa Giudice flipping a table, or even someone just giving me a look, that I have to remind myself, Andy, you're the moderator, you cannot laugh. But inside, I'm often screaming, I cannot believe this is happening. The hardest part of his job. While fans assume the toughest part is dealing with housewives who refuse to answer questions, Cohen insists it's actually about balance. Every woman feels their story is the most important one, he says. At reunions, they're all sitting there with months of built-up tension, and they want to feel heard. My job is to navigate that, to make sure the major issues are covered, the biggest fan questions are asked, and that the women leave knowing nothing was ignored. But sometimes that means pushing them in ways they don't love in the moment. And yes, he admits, it can get personal. There are times they'll turn on me, suddenly I'm the bad guy for bringing up something they wish we'd skip. But if we skipped it, the fans would be furious. So I have to play both sides. advocate for the audience but also show respect to the women sharing their lives. On the most iconic housewives, Cohen doesn't hesitate when asked who he considers the most iconic housewives. Teresa Giudice is absolutely up there. The table flip wasn't just a reality TV moment, it became part of pop culture. Bethany Frankel too, her wit, her business sense, her quick comebacks. Bethany helped set the tone for New York. And then you look at women like Nana Leakes, who gave us some of the most meme-able one-liners in television history. These women didn't just make their shows work, they changed how people talked about reality TV. But Andy insists iconic goes beyond drama. Kyle Richards, for example, has given us longevity and heart. She's been there since day one of Beverly Hills and has shown every facet of her life, from family struggles to massive parties. That's its own kind of iconic, the ability to stay relatable when your life is anything but normal. RHONJ, a constantly shifting dynamic. Few franchises keep Cohen on his toes like the Real Housewives of New Jersey. With Jersey, you never know where loyalties lie. Family bonds make everything 10 times more intense. It's not just friends fighting, it's sisters-in-law, cousins, parents. The stakes are sky high because you can't just walk away. You're tied for life. He admits that casting Jersey has always been delicate. We have to find women who can handle the intensity but also bring something fresh. It can't just be about who yells the loudest. We look for humor, lifestyle, vulnerability, and of course, connection to the group. Right now, the dynamics in Jersey are fascinating. It's almost like watching shifting tectonic plates. Cohen teases that the upcoming season will be one to watch. Let's just say there are some unexpected alliances that even I didn't see coming. Jersey is like this living, breathing organism that evolves constantly, and just when you think the Giudices or the Gorgas have nothing left to shock us with, they do. RHONJ, reinvention and casting magic. If Jersey is about family and fiery passion, the Real Housewives of New York City is about reinvention. The rebooted cast brought new life to the franchise, but Cohen says the casting process was daunting. With New York, we knew we couldn't just slap together a group. It's a city that demands diversity, style, edge, and a certain kind of humor. The original cast was lightning in a bottle, and the challenge was, how do we recapture that spirit for a new generation? I think we found women who feel very authentically New York, fashion-forward, outspoken, a little chaotic in the best way. Cohen admits he still feels a tug of nostalgia for the OG cast. There's no denying that Ramona, Luann, Sonja, Dorinda, they created magic. But I also think there's space for evolution. Housewives, like the city itself, need to evolve. Teasing RHONJ. When it comes to the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, Cohen grows especially animated. This upcoming season of Beverly Hills is one of the juiciest in years, he teases. We've got glamour, we've got secrets, and we've got confrontations that are going to shock people. There are moments where I had to double-check, like, are we actually capturing this on camera right now? It's that level of jaw-dropping. He hints at drama that touches every corner of the cast. There are fractures in friendships, unexpected feuds, and a couple of wild surprises that nobody, and I mean nobody, saw coming. Let's just say the reunion for this one is already keeping me awake at night. The secret ingredient. So what makes a good housewife? Cohen smiles knowingly. It's not just money, it's not just glam. The women who work best are the ones who can be real. They're vulnerable enough to let the audience in but fiery enough to stir the pot. They know when to drop a one-liner, when to cry, and when to fight. The best housewives are natural storytellers who live big, bold lives and aren't afraid to let the cameras see both the good and the bad. Looking ahead, Cohen says he never takes the housewives phenomenon for granted. People sometimes joke, how long can this go on? But when you look at these shows, they're really about relationships, friendships, betrayal, love, all the things that have fueled drama since Shakespeare. The backdrops change, Beverly Hills, Salt Lake City, Potomac, but the core remains universal. And for Cohen himself, he insists he's still having fun. Every time I think I've seen it all, a housewife surprises me. That's the magic. That's why I love it. And that's why the fans keep showing up. They know with Housewives, you can always expect the unexpected.